Metalhead Studios just debuted with a banger of a game, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to be in for a wild ride with Back to the Dawn. Back to the Dawn is a story-rich RPG where we follow two different stories happening simultaneously in the city of Boulderton, which resides within a society called New Eden. The two main characters we follow are Thomas the Fox and Bob the Black Panther. Thomas is a journalist exposing corruption related to the mayor of Boulderton, but gets framed and imprisoned for trying to find the truth. Bob, on the other hand, is an undercover cop fitting in to search for a wolf named Fenrir, hiding within the prison grounds. Upon selecting Thomas or Bob's story to play, you are told to choose one of three pasts for the character. Each past provides a unique buff and debuff along with two unique perks. Take Thomas's past as an undercover journalist, for example. You get +1 agility and an extra pocket slot with the drawback of rerolls costing more focus. You can also see he gets 2 perks, one allowing you to craft more items, and the other increasing your violation threshold. In Back to the Dawn, you have 4 main attributes: strength, agility, intelligence, and charisma. Each attribute has an effect on multiple mechanics just like any other RPG. For example, Bob starts with high strength and agility, which allows him to be more formidable in combat and has better bonuses to those skill checks. But don't worry, there is a surplus of skill checks. Skill checks can trigger often as you progress through the main story and the side quests. I can also definitely tell that these developers might be a fan of tabletop RPGs because the skill check is a 2d6 dice system. There are 2 types of skill checks in the game uses, however, and I actually kind of like these. The first skill check is the difficulty class, DC, most TTRPGs do it that way. But the other skill check, the progressive skill checks, that's the one I like. The progressive skill check is where instead of giving you a DC to pass, it gives a set number like 50, 60, 70, 80. And you keep rolling your 2d6 and you add the result until you get to the total. And I like these skill checks because it saves your progress. So you can do a couple of rolls for that progressive check each in-game day and save time for other activities. But there's another factor I love so much about this game, and that is the perk system. Doing literally anything enough times gives you a perk which you can then unlock with skill points. Each attribute has a set amount of skill points at start, but you can always spend XP to get more skill points for perks. While playing, I learned about perks from weightlifting, reading books, searching trash bins for loot. Hell, even using the toilet enough gave me a perk option. Within prison, you have a few needs to manage and take care of. At the bottom right corner, there are 2 bars. The red bar is your physical health, and the blue bar is your mental health, aka your sanity. Each bar has a threshold. You'll see it when there's like that little dash mark in there. If it goes below that dash, which is 30 as a number value, you start getting negative status effects. You will also notice passive status effects if you go to your character page in the menu. You need to eat, sleep, make sure you use the bathroom frequently, and stay clean. Letting any of these slip up will have consequences that can start hitting very hard if you ignore it for way too long. This is also the part of the video where I need to give you some advice on this. Don't sweat it on your first run of the game. Even if it feels like you've already ruined your run, that's normal, that's fine. You will mess up on your first playthrough, and you will take a few runs to fully understand everything the game offers you. The character design in this game, along with the main story of the prison, is a very big factor of what, in my opinion, makes this a great game. Within the prison, there are roughly 40 prisoners, each of them having their own story, attributes, traits, and perks. Let's look at Thomas's cellmate, Sam the Donkey, for example. Sam is a former mechanic who went to prison for robbing a jewelry store, but there is so much more you learn throughout the game just about Sam alone. As you increase reputation with prisoners like Sam, you learn more about their story and their personality. And this becomes a big deal throughout the game because you can befriend most of the prisoners off startup. Well, how does befriending a prisoner work in this game? Well, how it works is you can trade with them once you befriend them upon meeting them. You can also give them one gift per day to increase reputation with them. But what makes even that system so cool is that each prisoner only likes specific things. For example, one of the first characters I befriended in my run of the game was this panda bear named Old Lee. One of the first things you learn about Old Lee just upon meeting him is he really likes alcohol. This meant that giving Old Lee alcohol as a gift increases your rep with him much faster than giving alcohol to another character. By the way, building friendships with other prisoners is also a big deal because each prisoner, upon bonding with them, gives you a unique perk that you can unlock with your skill points. This adds at least 40 ways to play the game if you choose to only bond with one prisoner each playthrough. It really is just like a small testament to the replayability of this game. During your playthrough of Back to the Dawn, you will encounter 3 different gangs throughout the prison. The Bigfoot Gang, led by Jumbo the Elephant. The Sharp Tooth Gang, led by Alex the Lion. And the Black Claw Gang, led by Caesar the Chimpanzee. The prison gangs are a story constantly progressing throughout the entire playthrough as tensions boil over between the 3 gang leaders, which ultimately leads to a prison gang war. This allows for you, the player, to make a decision. Do you side with one of the gangs, or do you stay neutral to all 3 and try to avoid being a part of collateral damage? The gangs are also important in the aspect of the prison grounds, as each gang rules different areas of the prison. Each gang controls a specific area, more specifically, in the yard and the main cell block. For example, the Bigfoot Gang rules the weightlifting area in the yard and holds boxing matches in a room upstairs in the main cell block. Each gang also requires you to have a decent rep with them before you can join them. How do you gain a rep with them? You talk to the gang leaders and they give you quests to increase rep with and get more money. Yeah, you heard me right. You do have a money system within the prison. And saying money is important in this game would be a massive understatement. Without money, your progression is severely halted and sometimes you might even get soft locked, as you will find yourself struggling to fulfill your needs, complete the quests, improve your stats, because everything in this game costed money. In order to get money, you have to do work around the prison between head count and lunch. Now, I am a big fan of the minigame mechanics they made for the jobs in this game. A great example of that would be the minigame they did for the ironing board in the laundry room. This minigame was all about keeping track with time in your head. Each piece of laundry would give you a time for how long you need to iron it, but it would only show the first 3 seconds on the stopwatch. This led to me, and will lead to you as well, guessing when the stopwatch reaches the time. You would then get paid depending on how well you did in the minigame, or, in this case, how close you got to the exact time. But let's say you don't like the minigame, for the iron board or any other minigame. Well, luckily for you, the developers got you covered because they added a mechanic where you actually only have to do the minigame a set amount of times before you can just have Thomas or Bob do the work automatically. Although, I don't know if there's a catch and the difference in pay between doing the minigame or skipping it. I haven't researched that far yet, so do be warned. Do you remember earlier when I talked about the gang leaders giving out quests? Well, that was just the tip of the iceberg, my friend, as there are a lot of quests. The prison guards and employees give out quests, also well designed and written characters, by the way. Most of the prisoners will give out a quest depending on how you play the game. However, the main quest giver you will want to interact with is most definitely the barbershop owner in the yard. His quests definitely give out the best rewards and are some of the best designed quests in the game, in my opinion. Normally, you can only accept one quest from each quest giver at a time, but if that is a problem for you, then don't worry, once again, the developers have you covered. There is a perk that lets you take multiple quests for each quest giver at a time. And with that being said, I think it's time to give my actual summarized review of Back to the Dawn. After covering just the basic mechanics of the game, because I don't want to spoil too much for you, I can confidently say this game has a lot more upsides than it does downsides. I think the best parts of this game are easily the characters, the character selection, the replayability, and just the overall experience within the prison. Both Thomas and Bob, I believe, have 10 different endings, and they have at least 3 different starting kits. And when you add that to the already insane list of ways to play the game, the replayability honestly might be the best part of the game, and it might be perfect. As of right now, I would give this game a very solid 8 out of 10 rating and would recommend that you at least try the game. The core gameplay loop, I think, is consistent enough without being boring for the player, because there are so many features for you to discover throughout your runs. I mean, I'm willing to bet that every playthrough, you will still learn something new about the game that makes you say, I can't believe I missed that, or I can't believe I didn't see that earlier. Well, as all things do in life, this video does have to end. So thank you for watching my explanation and review of Back to the Dawn. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe to show your support for this channel. I've also been graduated from college now for a little bit, and I have more time to make videos, so don't forget to click that notification bell for future uploads, as there will be more on the way. Anyways, this has been Inferno Carson at Inferno Games. Have a great and grand, beautiful day or night. See ya!